right. And we are back. Welcome to the Soapbox, where people who work, volunteer, and care about recovery tell us who they are and what they are most passionate about. Hey, I'm your host, Rich Jones, RN, and I represent parentingyourchildinrecovery.com and secondstarts.com. That's the number 2, NDSTARTS.com. And my guest today is Dr. Robb Kelly. And I want to say, first of all, you'll find out shortly, but he's an absolute in the recovery space. He believes, just like I do, he believes in treating the causes of addiction and not the symptoms, which I hold that in high esteem. As far as me introducing you by his accolades or his contributions, they're too numerous right now. We'll get into that maybe in the show notes. There's too much of that. Okay. And the last thing I want to say is, what I appreciate about you is you're not cliche. You make sense. It makes sense what you're saying. So again, thank you, Dr. Robb, for being here.
Oh, Rich, of course. My pleasure. Thank you for having me, more like. It's going to be amazing.
No, this is great. Doc, listen, I'd like to start off every show with my guests giving everybody that Cliff Notes version, giving them that thing. Tell them who Dr. Robb is, real quick. Let them know.
Hey, guys, my name is Dr. Robb Kelly. I specialize in anything to do with psych, addiction, alcoholism, depression, anxiety, PTSD. All of the above, with more focus on addiction, of course. Ex-alcoholic here, homeless guy, lost his kids back in Manchester, England, died twice on the streets when I was homeless. Spiritual awakening, come off the streets, and then started to build a career at the age of 28. So, yeah, everything. I came up to America about 20 years ago for 2 weeks only. And
okay.
So I'm going to get another 20 years. And if I don't like it, I'm leaving. That's for sure. But yeah, amazing. Absolutely great journey. We have 5 offices. We have San Antonio, which I don't really count, Dallas, London, Manchester, Spain, and Switzerland. We're out there doing it. And yeah, we love what we do because we do what we love.
Okay, I like that. And I want to say before we even go any further, and I told you this before when we talked briefly before, you say you're going back to America. I spend so much time watching the Rip Box and the Acorn that I'm at home with you. Just hearing you talk, I'm at home. I got to be honest with you.
If you're ever in San Antonio, I think I mentioned it. We have a British restaurant next door to my office that I own. So you ever over here, man, I'm gonna run you around the offices and feed you next door to all fish and chips, pies, whatever you want.
Oh, I may hold you to that, Dr. Robb. That sounds good. I hear more about fish and chips. I said that the sound of it makes me feel at home. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to remind everybody that my show is very important. The show notes section is very important. I give you some additional information about Dr. Robb, his projects, contact information, some further thoughts, and let you catch up on him. We also talk about if you're the parent or mentor of a family of a young adult between the ages of 17 and 24, and you're at risk or in trouble with the law or substance abuse, and you're tired of a system that just not working for you, or is just a Band-Aid, we got a clinical option that you might want to look at in there. And also for your therapists and practitioners, please look in there and see. We want to talk to you about maybe helping your client families with that option. So let's get right to it here. Dr. Robb, I want to put you up on the soapbox. So climb up there. We're going to get started right away. We're going to do this. I'm going to shoot some stuff at you. Just fire back with me, your feelings about this, and really let us know the deal here. The first thing I was very fascinated about, and I'm just going to get a statement. Let's get back to the 98%. I'm interested to hear you talk about that.
So I personally, when I was suffering from alcoholism, I asked everybody, medical fraternity, doctors, they all said go to AA, which I did for many years, but meetings never keep me sober. So it's the book more than anything else. So when I came up the streets, I was angry. And I'll tell you why I was angry. I was angry that all this stuff that had happened, losing children and everything like that, all the stuff that happened, nobody had an answer for me. Nobody could say, hey, Rob, if you do this and this, then you should. Nobody said, because nobody knew. So when I came up the streets, I dedicated my life to getting back to 98%. And I got the 98% from AA in Akron when they first started. That was the percentage rate. Then we did a bunch of professional DVDs where I was the actor, but we talked about the big book. We talked about, how to get back up to the 98%. And the studies that we've done, we spent about $1 million on trial studies. Everything I'm going to say today, we tried and tested. I write white papers for Harvard University's psych hospital, universities, the government. I mean, I'm well versed in what I do. So I believe that you can cure addiction and you can fully be recovered from alcoholism. There's no cure for alcoholism. So when we studied all of that, we found out that alcoholics are born and drug addicts are made. Both show up the same, both as bad. So that's our success rate. We're up at 98%. We do have some little clauses in there. It's like when we take you on, you have to pass an assessment before we take you on. You know, the amount of people that have come with a checkbook, rich parents, just drop the kid off, big check.
Yeah.
And there's a check. We'll put whatever you want on it, Dr. Robb. It's like, I don't work like that. You know, I have to make sure you're ready. And then parents or wife or husband of the patient has to come on board for 2 days a week. If they don't, then we contact the patient. And what we found is when the family take part in the recovery, and I don't mean meet once a month and bash their husband, I mean properly do their work on the PTSD and the childhood trauma they're suffering from, just by bringing them both on board to do their own work, the success rate goes up by 42% alone.
Okay. That is great. Dr. Robb, fill me in here now. And we talked about this earlier. Drinking versus thinking. Give me your mindset on that.
So what we found, again, with research and trials and tests of the mind and the body pertaining to alcohol is alcohol has 1% to do with alcoholism. And the same with every other addiction. It's not the problem. In actual fact, it was kind of the go-to at one time. The problem isn't the alcohol. Now, how did I know this and where did I find out? Well, I'm stood outside a liquor store back in England, homeless, 5:30 in the morning. I've got money to buy alcohol. The guy knows me. God bless that Pakistani guy, little guy. I was outside. I'm in a short vest. I mean, flip-flops. It's snowing and I'm sweating profusely. And I can't keep my hands still. I know quite well in the next 30, 40 minutes, if I don't get alcohol or an emergency room, there's a good chance of me dying. I've been there before. I know this feeling. The guy lets me in, closes the door, locks it because he's not allowed to serve alcohol till 10 a.m. But he knows that I'm really bad. For whatever reason, on this day, I give the £5 or £10, and he put the bottle of vodka on the counter, and this is what I did. Hey man, headaches went, sweats went, shaking went, great mood instantly. I remember, and it will always stick in my mind. I looked at the bottle, I looked back at the shopkeeper, I looked back at the bottle, I went, holy crap, it's not the alcohol. You see, the thought of the alcohol calmed everything. When we've done further tests of taking people when they're gonna relapse, close friends and families, either to a drug dealer or the liquor store, we said we'd pay for everything. You know, don't call us unless you're serious about this. And so we'd wire them up, head and chest, and we found out picking them up, driving into the liquor store, back in the car, back home, and dropping them off. The most intoxicating part of all of that was the drive to the liquor store. So we know it's not about the alcohol.
Right. Okay.
So it's about our thinking. Our thinking is distorted. And when I say distorted, alcoholics are born because we have 3 different parts of the brain that differ to any other addiction or human being. Hypothalamus. So the hypothalamus is our survival part of the brain. From birth, it tells the human being you have to drink water and eat food to survive. That is it. It's our primary source of staying alive. During the alcoholic's journey, the hypothalamus is damaged from birth. And what happens is it hijacks the brain at a point in the alcoholic's career. It hijacks it and it tells the alcoholic to drink alcohol only to survive. And that's where we have a problem. The basal ganglia, which is our repetition, strength, and confirmed part of the brain, is broken. So, if you imagine a clock face, we go on a bender, 10 after we start coming round, 20 after we beg the wife to take us back, 1/2 she does, 22 we get that job offer, and 22 we smash everything down again. That's the basal ganglia repeating old behavior. So we know it's thinking. We know that when the hypothalamus takes over, there's nothing we can do.
Oh, wow. Okay. Dr. Robb, I heard you mention before your life's mission. And you told a story about the 12 weeks, and I was fascinated by it. I want my listeners to hear the story if they haven't before, and tell me how you came about this being your life mission, because it's important.
Yeah, I saw my parents suffer. I saw people around me suffer. I saw my wife suffer. Now, if you want more qualification of how bad of an alcoholic I was, I stabbed my wife 3 times one night because she wouldn't let me finish my bottle of vodka. So I want to put myself there. I was insane with alcoholism. Um, so when I finally got off the streets with a huge spiritual awakening, and I was an atheist, um, it was just a lifelong mission of I want to help. First of all, we just specialize in alcohol and drugs. I want to help the alcoholic and addict and their families to get a better future, fully recover, and get their life back. That was it, and that become a lifelong mission almost at the beginning, and sometimes still now. I'm very aggressive in this, and my staff are aggressive. It's like we're not here to save your feelings; we're here to save your life. And if you don't like it, I don't care. Patients come all the time with parents. You go, well, I'm not too sure. It's like every day. Well, let me stop you there. I don't give a damn whether you come in or not. I just want to put that out there. I don't need your money. You're 70, whatever they pay. I'm going to eat tonight, guys. So don't think you're coming here with your checkbooks and no, we don't play that game. We turn up 30% people are come, we turn them down. It's just like you're either going to get well or you're not here. And if you're not, we won't take you. See, nobody looked at my parents in the eyes and said, you know something, Mrs. Kelly, we're going to fix him. Nobody did that. And nobody's done that since. Nobody in the industry has looked the parents in the face and said, we'll fix it. We'll give you a 100% guarantee that if he passes the assessment, we'll fix it. And that's where the mission came from. You can follow. Addiction is curable, guys. Addiction is the addictive personality, and alcoholism is this disease because of the stuff in the brain we talked about.
Right.
But yeah, you can fully be recovered. And people say to me all the time, they go, well, if it's not curable, there's no cure for it. Yeah, that's really, really bad. There's no cure for the common cold or food poisoning.
Right.
But there's a few things you can do before you get it to stop you getting it. You see, the relapse never happens when you pick up the drink or drug. The relapse happens a week before, when you start going skewy, that he's a pain in the backside. I don't like her. Look at this purple pen. Why do they always give me purple pen? There's your relapse. So the understanding and the mission to get is we have something that not a lot of people have, is we'll guarantee that you can recover from this.
Okay, that's fascinating, but it makes so much sense. It's fascinating because all the stuff that we've heard, it sounds fascinating, but when you break away all the stuff that we've heard, it makes so much actual sense, though. So I appreciate that, Dr. Robb. A quote from you: "Step out of the disease and into the solution." Fill that in for me.
Well, the disease obviously is alcoholism, and addiction does show kind of the same. So addiction. So most people stay in their addiction without even when they stop drinking. They stay in their addiction full time, and what happens is they don't fully recover. You see, again, it's not about the alcohol. So why don't you step over to the solution? There's no relapses in the solution. There's no mundane lifestyle in the solution. The solution is purely to get you to the better side of life and carry on and make something of yourself, instead of sitting in that solution. I've seen alcoholics and drug addicts not get sober for a year, but they're still attached to that.
Wow, that very, very good. All right, take a break real quick here. I just want to remind everybody that show notes section is going to be very important to this show. I'm going to have some additional information and let you know about Dr. Robb's projects, how to contact him, and give you some information that you can get to him and find out the true thoughts about what he has. And I think you're going to find it very interesting, and for some people, absolutely life-saving. So that's our whole point here. We're going definitely, this is the life-saving ripple. You've had many of them, but I want to join you with one of them. Okay. All right. And furthermore, if you are the parent, mentor, or family member of a young adult between the ages of 24 at risk or in trouble with the law or substance use, and you're tired of a system that's not working or is just a Band-Aid, look in this show notes information, and we can put you on the path to a non-clinical solution for just use in that situation. Also, therapists, counselors who want to know more about that and how we can help your client families, we can work together. Looking at show note section. Dr. Robb, talk to me about some of the projects that you've got going on. I'm particularly interested in the book, and I'm particularly interested in the 9D breath work. I find that fascinating.
Yeah. So again, let's talk about the book real quick because it's called Daddy, Daddy, Please Stop Drinking. It's the last thing my 3-year-old said to me when the police and authorities took them off me because I was in a stupor with alcohol for 2 days. They didn't get changed. They didn't get fed. 3 things she said to me. She's walking down the path with mommy. Police are there, authorities, child protection. And she said, Daddy, Daddy, please don't go. And further down the path, she turned around again and said, Daddy, Daddy, please get better. And as they got to the gate, she turned around the last time and says, Daddy, Daddy, please stop drinking. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I tried everything, man. So estranged for 30 years. And 4 years ago, we get a ping on the messenger in the middle of the night. And I'm a concierge doctor, which means I only take care of 4 patients at one time. My staff take care of hundreds, but I'm the main 4 that I take care of. So I've got to get the phone. Can't ignore it. So I get the phone. I look through the eye on you, just walk over, trying to, and it was my daughter. We call her Charlie, Charlotte, my daughter. And she says, hey, Dad. She called me Dad. She called me Dad, man. After 30 years, she called me Dad. So, which I still have on my wall printed. I need to see you, Dad. I don't believe what everyone's telling me. It's time. No more pain. I have something to show you. I need to tell you something. So we're on a plane within 4 or 5 hours heading there. We stayed in a hotel overnight. And the next morning we went there. And I couldn't knock on the door. I was so scared. I was crying. My wife was holding me. I just was such a disappointment to this child. But I'd been doing all this work. Right? I'd gone broke helping people for free. My apartment was foreclosed on because I was helping people for free. It's big with me doing that. She opened the door. We hugged, we cried, we laughed. What seemed like 10 hours was probably 20 seconds.
Okay.
And then she grabbed my hand and she walked me through her house into her living room. And she handed me my 3-month-old granddaughter. Oh. And right there and then, I knew that this was it. So we just finished the book. So we're saying, hey, this book's out and I don't know what to call it. And then she said, why don't you call it Last Words I Said to You, which was Daddy, Daddy, Please Stop Drinking. So first of all, that. Secondly, put your money where your mouth is, Dr. Robb. I'm going to give 10 copies away just for this program. So if you come on, mention either one of us or the shows or message either one of us, I'll give you a free book. I'll pay the mailing, posting, shipping, and you can have it free. $10 to go. Jumping across the office to what's called the Breath Box.
Okay.
Breathbox.studio if you want to find out more. But it's a software that replants neural pathways, rediverts with subliminal messaging and then music. So you're nice and relaxed, listening to the music, the main voice, and then the subliminal messaging is rerouting self-sabotaging neural pathways. There's 72 programs. And it is just unbelievable. Across the office from that, in a different room, is what we have photomodulation. It's medical grade red light therapy. It's kind of a hat that you put on and a band around the stomach.
Okay.
And it does the same. It heals. It heals from the inside out, like we know red therapy does, but this is medical grade. Now, people say, I get the helmet, but why do we use the waistband?
Yeah.
Here we go. Hold on to your seats, guys.
Okay.
4 chemicals every day we need to be happy. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. Most people know that. But did you know the 2 main ones, dopamine, serotonin, are created in the gut. They're created in the stomach. So unless we're healing the stomach as well, that's why you wear the band, you're never going to be 100% happy. So that's what we found. We have NLP, we have brain spotting, we have all these great tools that we use. We're big on subliminal messaging from the moment you get out of your car in the car park to when you sit down in front of me. Psychologically, if we can plant some things, that's the Dallas Cowboys. Guy gets out, there's a Dallas Cowboys puck lodged in the hedge. So he doesn't really see it, but he does see it. He comes in, the girl will be wearing Dallas Cowboys t-shirt. Oh my God, there'll be a game playing. Oh, wow, wow. So he sat down with, and we're sat in the offices looking at him and watching his reaction to looking at the game. And you can literally see everything start to relax. Now he's in a familiar place because the Cowboys, he loves it. When he comes in, there'll be a picture in the corner of the Cowboys. He'll sit in front of me and he's open for business rather than, I'm got my walls up, it's going to take you a long time. Now he trusts us straight away. So we do a lot of sneaky work, but it's all legal, and we get the job done.
Oh, that's fascinating, Dr. Robin. You just said something that we're going to talk about later, and you didn't even notice, but we're going to get to this one, right. Oh, it's almost funny. Dr. Robb, I want to ask you a couple of questions, a little off the beaten path of that. The first one is, I noticed that even when you were in the midst of most of your trouble, you were still very akin to education. What's fired that education bug in you? Even though with all this, when I look at it, I'm saying, regardless of all this was going on, this guy wanted to learn. He was a learner.
Yeah. Well, I was brought up on the projects, very poor family. And I always mixed with people that were affluent. The kids at school that, I wouldn't let them come to my house. I went to theirs because theirs was the mortgage we were renting off the government. And a friend of mine's dad approached me one day and he said, "Hey, Rob," and I don't know, 15, 16, I can't remember. "You play the organ, yeah?" I said, "I play everything. I'm a pro musician, So he said, you ever heard of Freemason?" I said, "Oh, yeah. It's very secretive in England." "Yeah, I've heard of it, yeah." Well, our organist for this 150th anniversary in the middle of Manchester's lodge has passed away. And we don't have another organist. And we can't find one for love or money because all these guys are in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Would you come in and play? So I said, "I'd love to. But before you can go in the lodge, you have to do the outer guard and the inner guard, 2 positions," which they got me through that in less than 3 or 4 days. Then I was allowed into the lodge and I played for this occasion. Well, they were over the moon. They were like, "How can we repay you?" And again, Freemason in England is a lot different to Freemasons here. So I said, "Well, if there's anything I ever dreamt of, it's probably going to college because nobody's been to college ever in my family and nobody probably will." He pulled some strings and 30% education. The rest was who you know, not what you know, got me into Oxford University. Now, when I got into Oxford University, the imposter syndrome for me was huge. I was out. I felt out. I didn't belong there. I always remember sitting down for the first lunch. So we sat down for the first lunch, and there was like 7 knives and 7 forks and 3 spoons and a tiny fork, and I freaked out. I've never seen anything like this before. That's when I learned to watch before you do anything. Look around, follow the other guys, you'll fit in. So when I graduated there with a PhD in psychology, I was also working at Abbey Road as a session bass player. That's what paid the money to go through. I decided to try and learn as much as I can. So I did. When I brought my theories and practices to America 20 years ago, I changed my licenses over to Texas, and within 6 or 7 months, they stripped me of my licenses, saying that I was harming people and my methods were crazy. There's no such thing as changing the brain. We know the brain is hardwired, and the stuff we know today. And so I fought for it back, and within like 9 months, we got it back. And then my philosophy is here's my education, but no one's going to believe me unless I start really, putting the diplomas behind me. So that's what I did. And I've passed so many diplomas and stuff like that it kind of qualifies this, what was once crazy theory of this is how we recover fully. And that's what it was. Yeah.
And you moved right into another subject that I was going to ask, and I was curious about it too. The music part. You said a couple of things about that. How did music start in your life? How did you get hooked up into that? I mean, what started music off in your life? I'm curious
well, I come from
that.
a musical family. My auntie and uncle played the clubs and bars every weekend, and I got my first bass guitar at the age of 3. And I again, I'm either all or I'm nothing. I'm not doing anything hard. So I'm walking around with this guitar around my neck almost 24 hours a day. My mum used to say you were in the bath with the guitar, on the restroom with the guitar. So by the age of 9, my auntie and uncle said, you're good enough to come and play with us in the clubs and pubs. So most of the times they snuck me in through the back door because it was supposed to be over 18s. But I started to play with them. And then after that, I created my own bands like you do when you're young, and we're touring England and we're doing some great stuff, you know. And then one day, well, let's go back to the first or second gig. I'm on stage in Liverpool, where the Beatles come from. The curtain opened and there were so many people I froze. And my uncle kept nudging me, going, play. So after the first 20 minutes we played, we go off, we go back again for 45 minutes. But in the interim, my uncle said, drink this. And he gave me a beer. And I drank the beer. My life just changed right there and then because he didn't know anything about alcoholism. So the confidence I got from that, alcohol became my best friend. So as the years go by, I go through school. And then my 4th or 5th year in high school, a very good musician friend of mine said, hey, I have a session at the studio. Can you cover for me? And I'm like, what session music? What's that? Give you a couple of pieces of music, you play it, they pay you, you leave. I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that. So I turned up at this, what's called Strawberry Studios, which was 10cc studio back in the day in Stockport. Okay. And I went in and I sat down, got all my stuff out, got the headphones on. And the guy come out, said, hey, Rob, thank you for stepping in. He put 1, 2, 3 sheets of music in front of me. And he said, I'm going to give you a click track. Can you play these after the first one stopped? So click, I played it right through, can read music. Second one, third one. I bet it was 15 minutes work. And then he come in, you give me an envelope and says, thank you so much, man. If you ever want work again, let me know. Now, when I opened that envelope outside, that envelope, it had more money in than probably 6 months of gigging, 6 months of traveling, 6 months of getting home at 2 a.m. And I was like, what? They pay me this? So I became a studio musician and I finally worked my way to Abbey Road, where all the famous people. So I've actually played with Elton John, Bowie, Queen, all them great guys back in the 80s, 90s. And that's what I put them through college, you know. And I have a music room in the house. We do music therapy. I'm one of them guys that, so me and my brother are different. My brother can build a house, no training. Okay. He can build a conservatory. He can build tape. I can't do that. I have no idea how to paint. I'm going to mess it up. Talk about changing something in the car like a spark plug. No idea. But music, I can play any instrument. And somebody gave me a set of bagpipes once and bet, this is about 15 years ago, that within 5 minutes you can't play a tune. And I put £100 on it. And I got a tune after, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes. I played a tune on it. It's just, people go, how do you do that? How do you? And I go, how do you not? I don't get it. So I had that musical gene, so that's how I got in. And you know, music was my go-to for a lot of time in early recovery. The sad songs, the good songs. You know, I'm just intrigued by chord progressions, and you know, it's just that's how I got in. And I don't play anymore professionally. But I have a couple of guitars in the office at all times, and I pick it up. So, yeah.
Dr. Robb, you know, this must be some type of omen because I am I want to use the term wannabe musician. In other words, I have a bass guitar. About 5 or 6 years ago, no lie, I said to me, I want to play the bass guitar. Wow. I just want to. It just popped into my head. And it really never was musically inclined before, but I got one. Took a couple of lessons, but not many. So now it sits in the corner. Hey, I told the other guys, every 3 months, I relearn the scales, but that's all I ever do. Yeah. So I was fascinated. I wanted to ask you about that because I find that fascinating. So we're brothers again in another manner. You the big brother, definitely in that one. But this is the last thing I'll ask before we move on. Football. I laugh about that. And I wanted to ask Dr. Robb, I want to ask them. Now, you mentioned before, because this is all coming together, you mentioned before just in your story about the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a person who has loved the Dallas Cowboys ever since he was a little fella. And I tell my wife, it is my greatest source of joy and my greatest source of misery. all wrapped up into one. I want to know for
Yes.
you, Manchester United, is that the same feeling that you have to go through? Do you have to struggle through the misery that I do, regardless of how well things are going, how poor? It's always an exercise in misery and joy.
Well, back in the day, United was winning everything and they were great and stuff like that. So not so much, but now they've gone, obviously, they're useless right now. But yeah, the Cowboys is just, I work for the Cowboys. I did some work for a couple of players there, and I got to know the managers and the line coaches. And they actually, when the new stadium opened, they picked me up. I took a patient with me actually, and they were playing the Miami Dolphins. And they took me down there, and it was a great game. But yeah, it's kind of, it's almost a joke, I'm sure, in Dallas, where, this is our year kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I when I first came over, I got all the English channels. I was watching, get up at 5 a.m. and watch the game or something. But now I don't get up anymore. But you try your best to not get me to watch the Cowboys, and I will give you what's for. It's like I have to watch it every single time they're on. I love them. First game's good, and all of a sudden we're thinking Super Bowl straight away. Look, we're looking good. Zach's looking amazing, and all of a sudden, boom, 3 losses. And then we play, always looking, it's just crazy.
Dr. Robb, me and you we did not talk about this before. So I'm amazed about that. We did not even discuss this before, but I just wanted to hit on that and come to find out that's amazing. That is great. Okay. Dr. Robb, before I get out of here, I want to one more time go through and remind everybody that the show notes section is going to be extremely important for this show. More information about Dr. Robb, some of the things he's talked about, how you can get in touch. Dr. Robb, before we even say that, I want to ask you a real quick question. If someone was to see some of your stuff and felt like, well, there's no way in the world I could get to him, or there's no way in the world this could be for me, or is there any steps you could tell me for them to take right away anyway, regardless, of what they thought they could get directly from you? Is there anything you could direct them to?
Here we go, guys. So TikTok. TikTok is my platform. I only have 5,000 to 6,000 people following me. But listen, if you want me to reply to you, and I reply to everybody I tell this to, message me on TikTok. Get on to message me. I get it myself. Every other social media, people do it for me. But I tell you something right now, guys. Listen carefully. Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm going to do it. Listen carefully. If you're that guy, I love what you said before, like, if you've, in and out prisons, if you've got arrested, if you're that guy that's like, I'm thinking of ending it all, 214-600-0210 is my personal cell phone number. Text me. Don't call me. I'm so busy. Text me and I will get back to you within a couple. As soon as I get a break, I'll get back to you. So 214-600-0210. Message me. Now, don't just message me, please, just to say hi, although you can. Because here's the deal. I would rather, and I will, give you a 15-minute pep talk and direction that will change your life, okay? I would rather give up 15 minutes of my time gladly than hear of you of suicide next week. And that's when people go, you can't do that. And again, my favorite saying says who? You see, everybody sees the sometimes outrageous. I have orange pants on right now with yellow shoes. Outrageous Dr. Robb. Everyone sees, what I do and how I do it and the driving around and the places where I live. What they don't see, and I'm proud of, is 25% of our work is pro bono. Every single therapist or coach in my company has to carry a pro bono. And if you're against that, we will let you go. Me and my wife give $150,000 back every year out of our own bank accounts back into the guys that used to be me. You see, there's the key. They used to be me, and Derek found me on the streets, and John was the guy that had that, we call him an angel now, had that spiritual, I want to be your Derek. Okay? I don't care how rich and famous I get. I don't care about that. There were millions of people watch me on the doctors and stuff. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy who says, look at me, look at me. I'm that guy, in the middle of nowhere that's going to call you because you left a text. And then we're going to change the world between us in 15 minutes. And that's just a fact. I've done it thousands and thousands of times. So I think it's important that when we get there, whatever there is for you. I always thought it was money, but it was. Turns out it wasn't. That we keep our feet in the trenches. I'm a big trenches guy, you know, and that's why I love what you do, because you're in there with the guys that don't stand a chance. And
Yeah.
I did something was released in the prison system. It must do, because over the last 3 weeks, we've got about 150 letters from prison inmates. And I can tell you categorically right now that I will go through every single one of them. I will write back to them, and I will put $50 in your commissary. So if you're listening to this in prison, go on robbkelly.com, robbkloi.com, find out where we are, send us a letter. But I love the prisoners, man, because they put like 6,000 words on one piece of paper. So it's really hard to, it's really hard to read. But yeah, I'm very big on that. I'm very big at giving my time to people like this show. I mean, I'm gonna give kudos to you right here, because everyone thinks that we get invited to these shows and I go on. No, we turn 10 of these down a week. I've done thousands of podcasts. What my girl, Courtney Davies, which is an amazing girl, she goes out and she finds people that are changing the world. And then she humbly asked, is there any chance of Dr. Robb coming on your show? And then we get on, and 9 out of 10 times you go, oh my God, it's really you. And I go, I'm Robb. It's my honor to be here. So she saw you. Now she's very, very good when it comes to psychology. She saw the things we have in common without even asking the things we have in common. Because when we first met, it's like, oh, me and you are going to be BFFs forever, man. I'm telling you that. And I'm going to fly you down one day and get you to the Cowboys. I'll call Jerry up or something. I don't know.
Oh, Dr. Robb, you'd be a god if you did that. First of all, yeah. Secondly, I appreciate what you said about the prisoners. My profession was, I spent my last working years for the last 15 years, my nursing career as a director of nurses in a correctional facility. So the prisoners, that's where my mindset all came from, this watching families, young people broken way earlier than they needed to be broken, and I thought that this was an opportunity to save them and set them on a different path. It was such a growth opportunity. So this is how I even started. So I appreciate you thinking about and doing something for everybody, but especially for the prisoners. I appreciate that from you myself. So I want to thank you for that. Dr. Robb, I won't hold you much longer, but I appreciate what you've done for me, what you've done for our people. And we talked about the show notes, but remember that Dr. Robb's going to put some stuff and listen to what he said. He made some great offers to you guys. For myself and Dr. Robb, I want to say thank you. And I want to say, remember, everybody, until next time, remember to help somebody get better, help somebody stay better, and help somebody be better. Thank you. Bye-bye.